Today we're reading the rest of Zechariah, chapter 8 through chapter 14. And it's a rainy Monday out. It's a perfect day for reading the Torah. The Nevi'im, the prophets, and recording. So here we go. Chapter 8, verse 1. Again, the word of Yahovah Tzebaot came, saying, Thus says Yahovah Tzebaot, I am zealous for Zion with great zeal, with great fervor I am zealous for her. Thus says Yahovah, I will return to Zion and dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. Jerusalem shall be called the city of truth, the mountain of Yahovah Tzebaot, the holy mountain, or Har HaKodesh. Thus says Yahovah Tzebaot, Old men and old women shall again sit in the streets of Jerusalem, each one with his staff in his hand, because of great age. The streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets. Thus says Yahovah Tzebaot, if it is marvelous in the eyes of the remnant of this people in these days, will it also be marvelous in my eyes? Na'um, Yahovah Tzebaot. Thus says Yahovah Tzebaot, Behold, I will save my people from the land of the east and from the land of the west. I will bring them back, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem. They shall be my people, and I will be Elohim, in truth and righteousness. Thus says Yahovah Tzebaot, Let your hands be strong, you who have been hearing in these days these words by the mouth of the prophets, who spoke in the day of the foundation was laid, for the house of Yahovah Tzebaot, that the temple might be built. For before these days there were no wages for man, nor any hire for beast. There was no peace from the enemy for whoever went out or came in, for I set all men, everyone against his neighbor. But now I will not treat the remnant of the people as in the former days, Na'um Yahovah Tzebaot. For the seed shall be prosperous, the vine shall give its fruit, the ground shall give her increase, and the heavens shall give their due. I will cause the remnant of this people to possess all these, and it shall come to pass that just as you were a curse among the Goyim, O house of Judah and house of Israel, so I will save you, and you shall be a blessing. Do not fear, let your hands be strong. For thus says Yahovah Tzebaot, just as I determined to punish you when your fathers provoked me to wrath, Amar Yahovah Tzebaot, I would not relent. So again, in these days, I am determined to do good to Jerusalem and to the house of Judah. Do not fear. These are the things you should do. Speak each man the truth to his neighbor. Give judgment in your gates for truth, justice, and peace. Let none of you think evil in your heart against your neighbor, and do not love a false oath, for all these I hate, Na'um Yahovah. Then the word of Yahovah Tzebaot came to me, saying, Thus says Yahovah Tzebaot, the fast of the 4th month, the fast of the 5th, the fast of the 7th, and the fast of the 10th, shall be joy and gladness and cheerful feasts for the house of Judah. Therefore love truth and peace. Thus says Yahovah Tzebaot, people shall yet come, inhabitants of many cities. The inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, Let us continue to go and pray before Yahovah and seek Yahovah Tzebaot. I myself will also go. Yes, many peoples and strong nations shall come to seek Yahovah Tzebaot in Jerusalem and to pray before Yahovah. Thus says Yahovah Tzebaot, in those days 10 men from every language of the nations shall grasp the sleeve or the kanaf of a Jewish man, saying, Let us go with you, for we have heard that Elohim is with you. The burden of the word of Yahovah against the land of Hadrach and Damascus, its resting place. For the eyes of men and all the tribes of Israel are on Yahovah. Also Hamath, which borders on it, and Tyre and Sidon, though they are very wise. For Tyre has built herself a tower, heaped up silver like the dust, and gold like the mire of the streets. Behold, Yahovah will cast her out. He will destroy her power in the sea, and she will be devoured by fire. Ashkelon will see it and fear. Gaza also shall be very sorrowful, and Ekron, for he dried up her expectation. The king shall perish from Gaza, and Ashkelon shall not be inhabited. A mixed race shall settle in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines, or the Palestinians. I will take away the blood from his mouth, and the abomination from between his teeth. But he who remains, even he, shall be La Elohenu, for our God, and shall be like a leader in Yehudah. And Ekron shall be a Jebusite. I will camp around my house because of the army, because of him who passes by and him who returns. No more shall an oppressor pass through them, for now I have seen with my eyes. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, your king is coming to you. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding on a donkey, a colt, the foal of a donkey. I will cut off the chariot from Ephraim and the horse from Jerusalem. The battle bow shall be cut off. He shall speak peace to the Goyim. His dominion shall be from sea to sea, and from the river to the ends of the earth. As for you also, because of the blood of your covenant, I will set your prisoners free from the waterless pit. Return to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope. Even today I declare that I will restore double to you, for I have bent Judah, my bow, fitted the bow with Ephraim, and raised up your sons, O Zion, against your sons, O Greece, and made you like the sword of a mighty man. Then Yahovah will be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth like lightning. Adonai Yahovah will blow the trumpet and go with whirlwinds from the south. Yahovah Zevaot will defend them. They shall devour and subdue with slingstones. They shall drink and roar as if with wine. They shall be filled like basins, like the corners of the altar. Yahovah Elohim will save them in that day, as the flock of his people, for they shall be like the jewels of a crown, lifted like a banner over his land. For how great is his goodness, and how great its beauty. Grain shall make the young men thrive, and new wine the young women. Ask Yahovah for rain in the time of the latter rain. Yahovah will make flashing clouds. He will give them showers of rain, grass in the field for everyone. For the idols speak delusion, and diviners envision lies, and tell false dreams. They comfort in vain. Therefore the people wend their way like sheep. They are in trouble because there is no shepherd. My anger is kindled against the shepherds, and I will punish the goatherds. For Yahovah Zevaot will visit his flock, the house of Judah, and will make them as his royal horse in the battle. From him comes the cornerstone, from him the tent peg, from him the battle bow, from him every ruler together. They shall be like mighty men who tread down. In the mire of the streets in the battle they shall fight, because Yahovah is with them. And the riders on horses shall be put to shame. I will strengthen the house of Yehudah, and I will save the house of Joseph. I will bring them back, because I have mercy on them. They shall be as though I had not cast them aside. For I am Yahovah Elohim, and I will hear them. Those of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man, and their heart shall rejoice as if with wine. Yes, their children shall see it and be glad. Their heart shall rejoice in Yahovah. I will whistle for them and gather them, for I will redeem them, and they shall increase as they once increased. I will sow them among the peoples, and they shall remember me in far countries. They shall live together with their children, and they shall return. I will also bring them back from the land of Egypt, and gather them from Assyria. I will bring them into the land of Gilead and Lebanon, until no more room is found for them. He shall pass through the sea with affliction, and strike the waves of the sea. All the depths of the river shall dry up. Then the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall depart. So I will strengthen them in Yahovah, and they shall walk up and down in his name, Naum Yahovah. Open your doors, O Lebanon, that fire may devour your cedars. Wail, O Cyprus, for the cedar has fallen, because the mighty are ruined. Wail, O oaks of Bashan, for the thick forest has come down. There is the sound of wailing shepherds, for their glory is in ruins. There is the sound of roaring lions, for the pride of the Jordan is in ruins. Thus says Yahovah Elohai, feed the flock for slaughter, whose owners slaughter them and feel no guilt. Those who sell them say, Blessed be Yahovah, for I am rich, and their shepherds do not pity them. For I will no longer pity the inhabitants of the land, Naum Yahovah. But indeed I will give everyone into his neighbor's hand, and into the hand of his king. They shall attack the land, and I will not deliver them from their hand. So I fed the flock for slaughter, in particular the poor of the flock. I took for myself 2 staffs. The one I called Beauty, and the other I called Bonds, and I fed the flock. I dismissed the 3 shepherds in 1 month. My soul loathed them, and their soul also abhorred me. Then I said, I will not feed you, lest what is dying die, or let what is dying die, and what is perishing perish. Let those that are left eat each other's flesh. And I took my staff, Beauty, and cut it in 2, that I might break the covenant which I had made with all the peoples. So it was broken on that day. Thus the poor of the flock, who were watching me, knew that it was the word of Yahovah. Then I said to them, If it is agreeable to you, give me my wages, and if not, refrain. So they weighed out for me my wages, 30 pieces of silver. And Yahovah said to me, Throw it to the potter, that princely price they set on me. So I took the 30 pieces of silver, and threw them into the house of Yahovah for the potter, that I might. Then I cut in 2 my other staff, Bonds, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. And Yahovah said to me, Next, take for yourself the implements of a foolish shepherd, for indeed I will raise up a shepherd in the land who will not care for those who are cut off, nor seek the young, nor heal those that are broken, nor feed those that still stand. But he will eat the flesh of the fat, and tear their hooves in pieces. Woe to the worthless shepherd who leaves the flock. A sword shall be against his arm and against his right eye. His arm shall completely wither, and his right eye shall be totally blinded. Chapter 12. The burden of the word of Yahovah against Israel. Thus says Yahovah, who stretches out the heavens, lays the foundation of the earth, and forms the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of drunkenness to all the surrounding peoples, when they lay siege against Yehudah and Jerusalem. And it shall happen in that day that I will make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. All who would heave it away will surely be cut in pieces. though all goyim of the earth are gathered against it. In that day, Naum Yahovah, I will strike every horse with confusion, and its rider with madness. I will open my eyes on the house of Yehudah, and will strike every horse of the peoples with blindness. And the governors of Yehudah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem are my strength, in Yahovah Zebaoth Elohim. In that day I will make the governors of Judah like a firepan in the woodpile, and like a fiery torch in the sheaves. They shall devour all the surrounding peoples on the right hand and on the left, but Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, Jerusalem. Yahovah will save the tents of Yehudah first, so that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall not become greater than that of Yehudah. In that day Yahovah will defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem. The one who is feeble among them in that day shall be like David, and the house of David shall be like Elohim, like the angel of Yahovah before them. It shall be in that day that I will seek to destroy all the goyim that came against Jerusalem. And I will pour on the house of David and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and supplication. They will look on the Aleph and Tav in whom they pierced. That's literally what it says. They will look on Eli et, the Aleph and Tav, whom they pierced. Yes, they will mourn for him as one mourns for his only son, and grieve for him as one grieves for a firstborn. In that day there shall be a great mourning in Jerusalem, like the mourning at Hadad Rimmon in the plain of Megiddo. And the land shall mourn, every family by itself, the family of the house of David by itself, and their wives by themselves, the family of the house of Nathan by itself, and their wives by themselves, the family of the house of Levi by itself, and their wives by themselves, the family of Shimi by itself, and their wives by themselves, all the families that remain, every family by itself, and their wives by themselves. In that day a fountain shall be opened for the house of David and for the inhabitants of Jerusalem, for sin and uncleanliness. It shall be in that day, Naum Yahovah Zebaoth, that I will cut off the names of the idols from the land, and they shall no longer be remembered. I will also cause the prophets and the unclean spirit to depart from the land. It shall come to pass that if anyone still prophesies, then his father and mother who begot him will say to him, You shall not live, because you have spoken lies in the name of Yahovah. And his father and mother who begot him shall thrust him through when he prophesies. And it shall be in that day that every prophet will be ashamed of his vision when he prophesies. They will not wear a robe of coarse hair to deceive, but he will say, I am no prophet. I am a farmer, for a man taught me to keep cattle from my youth. And one will say to him, What are these wounds between your arms? Then he will answer, Those with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, against the man who is my companion, Naum Yahovah Zebaoth. Strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered. Then I will turn my hand against the little ones, and it shall come to pass in all the land, Naum Yahovah, that 2/3 in it shall be cut off and die, but 1/3 shall be left in it. I will bring the 1/3 through the fire, will refine them as silver is refined, and test them as gold is tested. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, This is my people, and each one will say, Yahovah Elohai. Behold, the day of Yahovah is coming, and your spoil will be divided in your midst. For I will gather all the goyim to battle against Jerusalem. The city shall be taken, the houses rifled, and the women ravished. Half of the city shall go into captivity, but the remnant of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then Yahovah will go forth and fight against those goyim, as he fights in the day of battle, and in that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, which faces Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall be split in two from east to west, making a very large valley. Half of the mountain shall move toward the north, and half of it toward the Negev. Then you shall flee through my mountain valley, for the mountain valley shall reach to Atzal. Yes, you shall flee, as you fled from the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Yehudah. Thus Yahovah Elohai will come, and all the saints with you. And it shall come to pass in that day that there will be no light. The lights will diminish. It shall be one day which is known to Yahovah, neither day nor night, but at evening time it shall happen, that it will be light. In that day it shall be that living water shall flow from Jerusalem, half of them toward the eastern sea, and half of them toward the western sea. In both summer and winter it shall occur. And Yahovah shall be king over all the earth. In that day it shall be, Yahovah is one, and his name one. Yahovah Echad, Ushmo Echad. All the land shall be turned into a plain, from Geba to Ramon, south of Jerusalem, shall be raised up and inhabited in her place from Benjamin's gate to the place of the first gate and the corner gate, and from the tower of Hananel to the king's wine presses. The people shall dwell in it, and no longer shall there be utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. And this shall be the plague with which Yahovah will strike all the people who fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall dissolve while they stand on their feet. Their eyes shall dissolve in their sockets, and their tongues shall dissolve in their mouths. It shall come to pass in that day that a great panic from Yahovah will be among them. Everyone will seize the hand of his neighbor, and raise his hand against his neighbor's hand. Judah also will fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the surrounding goyim shall be gathered together, gold, silver, and apparel in great abundance. Such also shall be the plague on the horse and the mule, on the camel and the donkey, and on all the cattle that will be in those camps. So shall this plague be. And it shall come to pass that every one who is left of all the goyim which came against Jerusalem shall go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahovah Tzebaot, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, or Chag HaSukkot. And it shall be that whichever of the families of the earth do not come up to Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahovah Tzebaot, on them there shall be no rain. If the family of Egypt will not come up and enter in, they shall have no rain. They shall receive the plague with which Yahovah strikes the goyim who do not come up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all the goyim that do not come up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. In that day, holiness to Yahovah, or Kodesh LeYahovah, shall be engraved on the bells of the horses. The pots in the house of Yahovah shall be like the bowls before the altar. Yes, every pot in Jerusalem and Judah shall be holiness to Yahovah Tzebaot. Every one who sacrifices shall come and take them and cook in them. In that day there shall no longer be a Canaanite in the house of Yahovah Tzebaot.